Hey everybody, welcome back to Checkpoint on Campus, the #1 show about college esports. Yes, we are the official show of college esports. I am your host, Norris Howard, joined alongside my partner in crime, Jacob Brothers. But before we begin, we want to remind you, if you are a college student or a high school student and you're looking for a esports program to join, make sure you check out Looking for Group. It's the only comprehensive database for the country's esports programs at the college level. So if you're wondering who's giving out scholarships, who's playing PUBG at the collegiate level, what program would be the best fit for you, make sure you check out Looking for Group. To get all of the information, you can slide on over to lfgroup.gg for all the information. Now, Jacob, we talked a lot about Northwood, and we talked a lot about Akron and Maryville and a ton of other sort of schools that have been doing a lot in the esports space recently, but one is kind of falling by the wayside, and that is Harrisburg. Now, Harrisburg has been known as one of the top programs in the country, but we haven't talked a lot about them in the past month. Is anything been going on with Harrisburg that we kind of need to know about? What have you been seeing in your research?
So it's kind of some minor major stuff. Yeah, because Harrisburg used to be a school that we talked about all the time, and then they kind of fell off. And so one thing that I saw about them that kind of sparked my interest to look in what they've been up to is that on October 28th, Tempest Awards had given them the award for the best collegiate esports program for the second year in a row, which is interesting. They did win the Overwatch 2019 finals, and they did beat Maryville on that. Maryville wasn't even in consideration for this award, which is kind of odd. But since then, they haven't done much, right? Like, they have been in tournaments. And a question I have for you is, I'm addicted in sports world, I'm addicted to the word fraudulent. Do we think that Harrisburg, I love it so much, but do we think Harrisburg is fraudulent, or do you think that people are just starting to catch up a little bit?
I think it's more of the rest of the world catching up, right? I don't think Harrisburg is fraudulent. I think what they've done is built a very solid program that will be competitive in everything. The problem is that she got certain schools that are just on another level in one esport. So you look at Maryville, yes, very good Overwatch team, but on a whole nother echelon when it comes to League of Legends.
Team. Yep.
Yeah, and you have Northwood, really, really good at Overwatch on a whole nother level when it comes to Rocket League. So you have a lot of teams that are so much better at one esport than Maryville or than Harrisburg, where Harrisburg is just more so very competitive in pretty much everything. So I think that is sort of their fatal flaw, is that they don't have that, it used to be Overwatch, but not at Northwood and Maryville. They
don't have their corner of the market.
Utah, UT Dallas, so many other teams and schools are catching up to them in Overwatch that I think, they don't have the monopoly on Overwatch that maybe other teams have in other esports. But one thing I will say, before you proceed, is that I do have issue with how award shows are doing their collegiate awards.
I agree.
Because to be perfectly honest with you, at the Tempest Esports Awards, I'm not sure if Harrisburg is a better program overall than Maryville. And I also look at, when we look at the Esports Awards, which just went down last week, where the head coach of New England College, Tyrell Appleton, he won that award. And not to take anything away from him, but one person won an award who was also put up against entire programs, against something like a UCI program, up against a Maryville program. That does not make sense to me. First of all, to even put them in the same category,
I would say.
Yeah. I just think at the bare minimum, you can separate individuals and programs. You can say the most influential person in the most influential program. I think at the bare minimum,
sports likes to be messy. They like to be confusing.
It does. It's always messy for no apparent reason I don't really understand. But more about Harrisburg.
Yeah, so all that stuff about Harrisburg, like, how do they take the next step? I think out of all of the good programs, Harrisburg is the one that needs to take a new step. Because they're getting left behind a little bit. And so, when I hopped on their Twitter, not on any website or anything, just twitter.com, They are now one of the Cloud9 University affiliates. That is very big news. That means that Harrisburg is getting Cloud9 in their ear. And that could take them to a whole different level. That could be okay, now we're going to hire one of your League of Legends players for Cloud9 in 2 years. Like, that makes Harrisburg a top competitor. What do you think when you hear that kind of a pairing?
I think it helps. I think it does nothing but help. I do think that they're a program that does need to kind of take another step. I think if we were talking about the higher echelon of collegiate esports programs, obviously they are still in what I would like to consider the S tier, but they are in jeopardy. They are in jeopardy of being sort of leapfrogged by a couple other teams. And, you know, I think Harrisburg is a team that needs that next big win. I think they really need that as Maryville continues to dominate in League of Legends. As we see Overwatch now almost seeming like a changing of the guard. I mean, how the varsity series goes and how the championships in TESPA goes is going to be very telling, because I feel like if they don't win that tournament, then they really don't have anything to hold their hat on for the entire year of 2020, which, to be fair, is probably the toughest year to win anything in. But at the same time, having the support of Cloud9, I mean, a team synonymous with North American esports, I think is very, very important from the programmatic standpoint. And I think, can it help them go to the next level? Absolutely. Absolutely, it will help them.
Well, and then I think next year, because we don't know who the other affiliates are yet for this program, so depending on who those other affiliates are, in a couple months from now, we might be talking about Harrisburg like we did, how this world was 2 years ago. Like, because they're going to have their own invitational and like their League of Legends tournament and all that. And if it's just going to be with the affiliates, and if the other affiliates aren't a headliner like Harrisburg, then Harrisburg might be a completely dominant team again. And then we wouldn't know how they really are until an actual tournament where Maryville wakes up, you know. But this I think Harrisburg is about to have a very exciting 2021 with this merger. It's a very good omen for them, I would say.
I think it is, but I also think at the same time, I think they need to up their performance in other esports. I think the invitational, the HUE invitational, where they were able to go up against Maryville, I think that was a very good sign. And then they kind of just dropped off the face of the earth and we didn't hear anything else about them. But Overwatch, we know, is Harrisburg's bread and butter. We know that is their primary esport. But again, I agree with you that 2021 could be big, but if they do not win TESPA, I don't know. Can we continue to call them a top flight organization? Can we put them in the same conversation as Maryville? I'm not sure. Maryville doesn't think they could be in the same conversation with them, that's for sure. So, you know, it remains to be seen if they are as good as we think they are. So hopefully Cloud9 helps out.